The Chautauqua County Jane Doe, identified as Cynthia Bilardi, also known as Cynthia Merkley. Cynthia's life wasn't smooth. The homeless mother of an infant found herself with her third child, forced to clean her in a bathroom inside of a restaurant sink. There she put her 1-year-old daughter, named Caitlin, and attempted to clean her. But she was also high on drugs and belligerent, refusing to open the door to any of the other people wanting to use the public restroom. This led to the police being called by the manager. The police, when they arrived, also realized the homeless woman matched the description of a woman who had stolen a knife from the local Macy's store. It appears the theft was true also, as Caitlin would one day locate her grandmother, who shared her mom stole the knife, saying she took it to protect her family. Cynthia found herself under arrest in Sonoma County for the knife theft in 1983. She was booked into the county jail. It was this event and fingerprints taken that day that would one day eventually provide a clue to who she was. As a result, the young girl, a child named Caitlin, was taken into custody by the Valley of the Moon's Children's Home. That same little girl, all those years ago, would one day become an adult who was searching for her biological mother. She eventually located her biological aunt, and from there they were able to reconnect with missing family members, including finding and meeting some of her 6 biological brothers and sisters. In an interview with the Press Democrat, she said that the thing that really confuses her the most is that no family members ever filed a missing persons report for her mom. Her mother was estranged from the family for several years before she passed away. Caitlin was 36 when she finally discovered her mother's fate, finding out her mom was only 2 years older when she passed away. A new fingerprinting process would improve the prints taken from the Jane Doe and match them with the prints from Cynthia's arrest. And with this, Caitlin Johnson's search for her mother was finished. But not finished in the way she wanted. Her daughter made this statement. She described it as a combination of shock, devastation, and closure. I was able to have an answer, but how much does it suck that this is the answer? I would rather have her not wanting anything to do with me, rather than being told that she's passed away. It turns out when they found her, they had no idea how she ended up in a field off Nut Tree Road, or what the cause of her death was. She was found during the construction of an outlet mall in 1991. It's well known she was a regular hitchhiker, and she especially liked to travel between San Jose and Santa Rosa. But they have no clue how she ended up in Vacaville. She had been where she was found 2 or 3 weeks, but there were no outward signs of her cause of death. Caitlin has tried to get information and put the pieces together. Her grandmother, Cynthia's mother, last remembers seeing Cynthia about 2 years before Cynthia was found. Her sister describes Cynthia as liking to party and to use drugs, as well as being fond of ballet. But whatever the situation with Cynthia and her children, Caitlin has used it to teach her children about drugs. She's not angry with her mother, saying you either learn from your parents or you become them, or maybe a combination of them both. Her family says that Cynthia was last seen in Santa Cruz, but there had been talk of plans of her traveling to Sacramento. It was Sacramento where her mother and sister lived at the time. However, her mother passed away before Caitlin was identified, and Cynthia's sister moved away. There is no indication as to what happened to the other children that she gave birth to. Her daughter, Caitlin, said the most difficult part for her is that she was missing and nobody said anything. Caitlin believes that her mother likely died from a drug overdose, but she'd like to know for sure. If anyone has any information on this case, please call the number on your screen. Cynthia Merkley went unidentified for 28 years. The Chautauqua County Jane Doe. This still to be identified Jane Doe was discovered in a ditch along Route 17, off the expressway outside of the town of Ellery, New York, in December of 1983. Utility workers found her partially clad body lying there off the highway, the victim of a gunshot wound. They believe she was likely from Canada or some European country. Computer checks in the United States, Canada, and Interpol have been unsuccessful, and although they ran her fingerprints, there has never been a match. How she ended up where she was is a complete mystery, just as much as where she came from. The idea that someone's treated as garbage is just horrifying. And yet, here again we are, She was thrown off the side of the road along Route 17. The other thing about being tossed off a highway, it sort of indicates that the person maybe didn't belong anywhere near where they were found. I don't show postmortem photos on this channel, but they may help in identification, so I always let you know. And in this case, there is one, but it's pretty gruesome. The photo can be found on NamUs. She was around 5'4" and 130 pounds. They believe she'd given birth about 15 years before. She had brown hair and brown eyes. Her blood type was A positive, and she had a scar on her neck. She also had expensive dental work that they believe was done in Europe. She had an IUD inserted that was obtained in Finland, Belgium, or the Netherlands. So if she was from the U.S., which it's not likely, she had traveled extensively. But more likely she was from another country, which makes it so much harder to identify her. She wore a white V-neck t-shirt that was made in Italy. She had an expensive plaid trench coat, like shown here, which had a reversible, olive-colored wool on the inside. Her skirt had been handmade. She was also carrying a note that was written on stationery from the Blue Boy Motor Lodge, which is a company with locations throughout British Columbia. If her age estimates are correct, the missing person someone is looking for would have been born in 1946 to 1953. The Chautauqua County Jane Doe has gone unidentified for 34 years. Thanks everybody for watching and listening. If you enjoy this channel and haven't yet, please take a moment and hit the subscribe button. Take care of yourselves and each other.